Let's talking about COVID-19 virus today. COVID-19 virus, also called SARS-CoV-2 or new COVID virus. COVID-19 is pandemic in the world in 2020. Since December 31, 2019 and as of July 13, 2020, 12,875,963 cases of COVID-19 have been reported, including 568,628 deaths. Biology of the COVID-19 virus. COVID-19 virus belongs to coronavirus group. It is a kind of zoonotic single-stranded RNA virus that spreads between animals and humans. Coronavirus can infect mammals and birds, causing digestive tract diseases of cattle and pigs or upper respiratory tract diseases of chickens. 7 kinds of coronaviruses are common in nature and known to infect human beings. They can cause respiratory tract infections, common cold, and even severe diseases such as Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, and new coronavirus diseases, COVID-19. In 2003, an epidemic caused by the SARS virus caused the term coronavirus to gradually enter people's vision. Coronavirus is named because it can observe the obvious accumulation of rod-shaped particles under the microscope. And the shape is like the crown of the medieval European emperor. In 1975, the Virus Nomenclature Committee officially named the coronaviridae. Coronavirus is an enveloped RNA virus that is widespread in humans, mammals, and birds, and can cause respiratory, infection, liver and nervous system diseases. There are 7 of coronaviruses could cause humans illness. 4 of them are currently known to infect humans, may cause common cold symptoms. 3 other viruses will cause severe illness, like severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, SARS-CoV, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome virus, MERS-CoV, is a zoonotic virus that can cause fatal diseases, and severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, which also commonly be called COVID-19, since it be found in 2019. Coronavirus particles are irregular in shape, with a diameter of about 60 to 220 nanometers. The virus has an envelope structure with 3 proteins on it: spike glycoprotein, S, spike protein, small envelope glycoprotein, E, envelope protein, and membrane glycoprotein, M, membrane protein. And a few types have hemagglutination vegetarian glycoprotein, He protein, hemagglutininasterase. Coronavirus is characterized by being able to use itself as a template to guide the synthesis of virus-related proteins. After the virus enters the host cell, RNA polymerase is first expressed using viral RNA as a template, and then RNA polymerase completes the transcription and synthesis of negative strand RNA. The synthesis of various structural protein RNAs, and the replication of viral genomic RNA. 2019 nCoV. In December 2019, China discovered a group of patients with pneumonia caused by unknown reasons related to the seafood wholesale market. A new coronavirus was detected by whole genome sequencing. The virus belongs to the subgenus SARS virus, orthocoronavirus subfamily. This virus is different from MERS-CoV and SARS-CoV. It becomes the 7th member of the coronavirus family that can infect humans. Virus morphology. This transmission electron microscope image shows SARS-CoV-2, also known as 2019 nCoV, the virus that causes COVID-19. Isolated from a patient in the U.S. Emerging from the surface of cells cultured in the lab. The viruses were generally spherical. The diameter is between 60 to 140 nanometers. Virus particles have obvious spinous processes, about 9 to 12 nanometers, causing the virus to exhibit a coronal shape. 2019 nCoV infection of host cells. For a virus to enter a cell, the cell must have its corresponding receptor. For example, the common receptor for HIV is CD4 protein, which is usually on the surface of immune cells in the blood. So HIV can be transmitted through the blood without worrying about airborne transmission. The receptor of this new coronavirus is angiotensin-converting enzyme 2 like SARS, which means that to infect humans, the virus must first contact cells with this enzyme to complete receptor binding. And we happen to have many of these cells exposed to the air, the mucosa. The meaning of the mucosa is to secrete mucus and keep it moist. There are a lot of mucosal cells in our lips, eyelids, nasal cavity, and mouth. When the virus contacts the oral mucosa in some way and binds to the receptor, the infection begins. First, the envelope of the new coronavirus will fuse with the cell membrane to release the viral genetic material, a single strand of RNA, which can be used as messenger RNA to deceive the ribosomes in the cell. Synthesize RNA replicase. RNA replicase will be based on viral RNA generates negative RNA strands. This negative RNA strand will continue to generate more RNA fragments and positive RNA strands with replicase. These different RNA fragments will generate more different viral protein structures with ribosomes. Finally, these proteins, the outer shell, will combine with RNA to generate new coronavirus particles, which are secreted out of the cell through the Golgi apparatus and infect new cells. Each infected cell produces tens of thousands of new virus particles that spread to organs and bronchial tubes and eventually reach the alveoli, causing pneumonia. New coronavirus, simple structure, simple composition, but destructive power is never simple. COVID-19 is usually excreted through tiny particles formed by the patient's cough, sneeze, or breathing. The droplets usually fall to the ground or onto surfaces rather than traveling through air over long distances. Transmission may also occur through smaller droplets, called aerosol, that are able to stay suspended in the air for longer periods of time. Aerosol transmission can happen during some medical procedures and potentially in crowded indoor spaces that are inadequately ventilated. Less commonly, people may become infected by touching a contaminated surface and then touching their face. It is most contagious during the first 3 days after the onset of symptoms, although spread is possible before symptoms appear, and from people who do not show symptoms. Common symptoms include fever, cough, fatigue, shortness of breath, and loss of sense of smell. Complications may include pneumonia and acute respiratory distress syndrome. The time from exposure to onset of symptoms is typically around 5 days but may range from 2 to 14 days. Diagnosis. The standard test for current infection with SARS-CoV-2 uses RNA testing of respiratory secretions collected using a nasopharyngeal swab, though it is possible to test other samples. This test uses real-time RRT-PCR, which detects the presence of viral RNA fragments. Imaging. Chest X-ray examination. Since the disease manifests itself as pneumonia, radiological imaging has a fundamental role in the diagnostic process. Standard radiographic examination, X-ray, of the chest has a low sensitivity in identifying early lung changes and in the initial stages of the disease. At this stage, it can be completely negative. In the more advanced stages of infection, the chest X-ray examination generally shows bilateral multifocal alveolar opacities, which tend to confluence up to the complete opacity of the lung. Pleural effusion can be associated. Chest computed tomography. Given the high sensitivity of the method, chest computed tomography, CT, in particular high-resolution CT, HRCT, is the method of choice in the study of COVID-19 pneumonia, even in the initial stages. There is no known vaccine or specific antiviral treatment. Primary treatment is symptomatic and supportive therapy. Recommended preventive measures include hand washing, wearing a face mask in public settings, maintaining distance from other people, covering one's mouth when coughing, disinfecting the surfaces, increasing ventilation and air filtration indoors, and monitoring and self-isolation for people who suspect they are infected. I hope everyone can take good protection and let this epidemic end soon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please thumb up and leave a message. You must be my biggest motivation to make the video. Please subscribe to the channel, where you'll find more and more medical videos here later. Thanks.